I'm the product of the people I've been surrounded with for the past 3 years here and the influences that they've created for me here. And ideally, I want to highlight those efforts, not necessarily my own, because I want the class itself to be able to recognize that if they put themselves in a similar environment with a similar support system that I have, that they could experience a similar success as well.
Eventually, you are going to learn that your life is what you make of it. So take risks while you can if you ever want to have the reward of the life that you've been dreaming of since you were a little kid.
Being around the students that I'm in, a lot of them are mothers, full-time college students on top of full-time jobs. You know, we all have different paths, and I think being around that environment has been able to make me open up my eyes and realize that we all have our own struggles financially, you know, maybe family-wise, and we all, at the end of the day, have made it here together.
Bold ideas, inspiring stories, dynamic experiences. I'm your host, Dr. John Anderson, president of PennWest. Welcome to the Power of PennWest podcast. Welcome back to the Power of PennWest podcast. Today is part one of our two-part series with our May 2026 PennWest commencement student speakers. Over the coming weeks, we'll be celebrating the graduating class of 2026 and the voices that rise to represent it. Today's episode begins that celebration by honoring students whose journeys reflect the very best of PennWest. Through perseverance, leadership, service, and academic purpose, they have shaped not only their own futures, but the communities around them. Their stories capture the spirit of a class ready to step forward, make an impact, and lead with intention. So let's meet today's guests, two of whom have been on the podcast before, and we're looking forward to hearing from them a second time. First, Caitlyn Egan is a senior at PennWest California, majoring in criminal justice with a concentration in forensic investigation. Deeply involved on campus, she serves in the Student Government Association leadership, leads the Co-ed Volleyball Club, and holds roles in the Criminal Justice Club, SAI Board, and peer mentoring. Her college experience, paired with an Ocean City Police Department internship, has shaped her passion for law enforcement and the career that is ahead. Caitlyn, thank you for joining us for a second time.
Thank you for having me.
And it was fun to see you at the club volleyball event on Saturday up in Edinburgh when we had all three campuses competing against each other. That was a lot of fun. Our second guest today, Karsten Cadillac, is a senior nursing student at PennWest Clarion from Franklin, Pennsylvania, drawn to Clarion for its close-knit campus community. He has maintained a perfect 4.0 GPA while tutoring peers in nursing and anatomy and gaining hands-on clinical experience at UPMC Northwest in inpatient medical surgical and specialty units. Karsten prepares to begin his career in the medical intensive care unit at UPMC Hammett shortly after graduation. Karsten, thank you for joining us again.
Thanks again for having me. It's great to be back.
And our third guest today, Jordan Weedman, is also from the California campus, majoring in criminology with a master's degree in analysis of criminal behavior already underway. A Marine Corps reservist and campus scholar, Jordan has maintained a 4.0 GPA while balancing military leadership, research presentation, and Division II athletics. His college experience blends discipline, service, and academic excellence, shaping his path toward law school and a future career in military law and public service. Jordan, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson.
And it's also been fun to see you running on the track and eating in the cafeteria. So I've seen you around campus quite a bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, let's begin today talking about what it's like to be selected as a commencement speaker. I mean, that is a pretty rare honor for a student to be able to speak at their commencement and be able to share their story a little bit. What was it like, Caitlyn, when you knew you were selected?
So when I found out, actually, it was during the big event. So we were like running around. It was a crazy busy day. And then I got the email saying that I got it. And this is something that I've been wanting for a very long time. I feel like I've had majority of my speech written since like the beginning of senior year. So it was honestly one of like the best feelings ever to finally, I feel like it's a good way to like wrap up the story, like being able to actually like share your experiences in front of your whole like class and everyone that I've been with the past 4 years.
Was that moment surreal when you're running around leading all your fellow classmates in the big event, doing service projects all over, and you get an email that's like, wow? She's really
Yeah,
good.
I was actually we were trying to run around and find more trash bags for people. And so like it was one of those things where it was like a mini like freak out moment because we were like we're almost out. And it was like a nice little like reminder of like okay, everything's fine. Like
That's great. And Karsten, when did you learn you were going to be a commencement speaker?
I found out the same way she did via email, and it was surreal. I've been looking forward to commencement speaking ever since I saw one of my best friends do it in high school, and I looked up, and it was just it's mesmerizing the way you just, you wrap up and tell your story, and you include the entire class and community and what you experienced, and yeah, just being able to do that and having the role to do that is it's remarkable, and I'm very honored to be able to speak at the Clarion commencement.
Excellent. And Jordan, where were you when you found out?
I was in my apartment looking through my emails, and obviously I was very excited to see that email come through, letting me know I was accepted to be the student speaker for graduation. For myself, I think the biggest thing and the biggest motivation for wanting to be a student speaker just had to do with the fact that I do have a story to tell, and that my path is a little bit of a unique one that is worth sharing.
Thank you, Jordan. Now let's have each of you share a little bit about your unique paths. Each of you have worked incredibly hard to have this opportunity. But let's go back for a minute to the time you showed up as a freshman. You're beginning your academic experience and you're learning along the way. As you reflect back on that and have the chance to share your story at commencement, what are the most impactful experiences you have had over your time at one of the PennWest campuses? Caitlin, let's begin with you.
well, I will say I think that for me it was very crazy and hectic when I got here. I came to Cal not knowing a single person. I'm from a place in Ohio that no one's really heard of from here. So it definitely was one of those things where my world felt so big, and then there came a point where I was like, okay, well, it feels a lot smaller now because no one even knows where I'm from. And at first, it was hard. It was confusing. And I told myself, because I was always involved in high school, for some reason, I told myself that I was going to take a relaxing moment when I got to college. And it started with me just learning about everyone on campus. And I eventually, it came to the point where I was like, I don't know why I'm trying to fit my world so small. So I decided to make it a lot bigger and get more involved. And I had some unfortunate things happen throughout my time here, but it really just pushed me to become better and showed me like the person who I wanted to become and really pushed me to be that person. I will say definitely the first thing I joined on campus was volleyball club. When I joined, there was not, we didn't even compete. There was not a single, it was like we would just show up. It was a group of like probably 15 of us that would show up just to play volleyball, a couple times a week. And then eventually they talked me into running on the e-board. And next thing you know, I'm here on my senior year and we went to nationals this year. So that was a lot of fun. And then Derek Harshberger, who is huge on campus right now, he was a student government president when I first came in, and he really encouraged me to get involved. And now he's someone who I work like right next to. And it's crazy to think he was the very first person I talked to on campus. And like he was a huge reason why I chose to come here because he was very welcoming and very like, let's get excited about stuff. And for me, it was like I always just wanted to become that person for people. Like I wanted to be like sort of how Derek was for me. So he's been a huge like mentor for me. It's been a crazy journey, a lot of ups and downs. I think every year I joke about how like there was some sort of thing like my sophomore year when I broke my foot. I thought the world was over, and next thing you know, it's like, look at me now. Like
Thank you for sharing that. Have you had the experience, like when you walked on campus, you met Derek, he's a great person on campus, a big personality and does a lot of great service. But did you have the opportunity to walk away from a conversation with like a freshman student when you realized I am now Derek? I am now in that role. I'm now filling that. Was that surreal for you?
Yeah, I will say, last graduation, actually, I was talking to some students and they were graduating and they had like thanked me because they said how one of the things that they really enjoyed was like, for example, it was a volleyball club, and a student had thanked me for it because he said that was a big part of that because I really pushed for the club to become bigger. And I think that that was kind of when I was like, wow, like, okay, maybe I am this student, like maybe I can lead people for one, but also, it was one of those things that I was just like, okay, I am like really grateful for where I'm at. And it reminded me of, I can still enjoy everything around me and really like push people to see the best version of themselves. That's really what I love to do. So it made me think too, like future wise, what I want to do and how I can use my role in the future to do that. But that's really my main goal.
Excellent. Thank you. Jordan, let's go to you next. Think back to yourself as when you started as a freshman, had some experiences there over your years at on campus. What were the highlights for you?
Man, that feels like such a long time ago. Oh man. So for context, I am not a traditional student. I started off in the military first. So right out of high school, I joined the Marine Corps Reserve, and then I made my way to PennWest California. And I would say there are kind of two distinct moments within my career that really stand out that were truly impactful. The first one being my interactions with Dr. Warnick through a couple of her classes. She was the professor that really pushed me to start pursuing law. It was actually from her criminal law class I discovered that this could be something I could really pursue and dive deeper into. And then the second one would be Dr. Paul Klinowski, kind of taking me under his wing and giving me the opportunity to participate in independent research, and then ultimately to present that research at the Academy of Criminal Justice and Sciences National Convention, which was just such an amazing experience for me. And it's just kind of acted as a springboard for the rest of my career.
And talk to us a little bit about not only that academic part that you've had, but you've had a journey outside of academics on the competitive track environment. Talk to us about your experience there.
Absolutely. So coming out of high school, I was not necessarily a standout academic student or necessarily an athlete either, but given the correct environment to be in, I've had the opportunity to just grow and grow, both athletically and academically. And this past year, kind of both of my efforts got recognized, whether it be being named to the PSAC All Academic Team or being awarded the PSAC Champion Scholar Athlete Award. I just think it's a reflection of the environment I was put into and given the tools I needed to succeed in those said environments.
That's interesting. You mentioned that history. When did you first have like the awakening that I'm really going to apply myself? I'm going to get good grades. Was that like partway through boot camp? Did you have that realization or did that happen after?
So the best way I could describe it for me, this is a zero fail mission. And what I mean by that is I don't have the option to fail. When I got out of boot camp, I realized that college was something I wanted to do. I didn't have the funds to do it. So because I didn't have the funds to do it, I applied for an officer commissioning position within the Marine Corps that would provide for me a scholarship. But with that came some responsibilities and the realization that if I fail in this endeavor, there's no plan B.
Well, that like a mic drop moment right there. There's no plan B. We're not going back. We are rushing the hill, burning the boats, and here we go. You
Absolutely.
leaned into it. That's really impressive.
Thank you.
Karsten, talk to us about, we've heard a little about your nursing experience, your experience on Venango campus earlier, but tell us your highlights of your time here at Penn West.
My highlights would definitely be getting the role of being a tutor here. I mean, it's just been so great to help students thrive and succeed. You know, I came from obviously Venango, like you said, and I remember my first A&P exam. You know, it was not great. It was not good. I bombed that thing, but it's all right. I learned and I overcame it to the point where I was able to do well on the rest and teach students how to do well from my own mistakes. And I think that's one of the things that really made me really love this campus as well as getting this role and being able to just be so inclusive and help students succeed overall.
That's excellent. What experiences you had outside of the classroom that helped you in the journey?
Outside of the classroom, similar to what Jordan said, I mean, I was not your original college student. Like I took a 3-year gap year and I was out there on my own making like $30,000 a year. And I'm like, I can't live like this. I had to go back to school. So I went to school and I had to lock in and do what I do. And that's why I push myself the way I do. Like exactly like Jordan said. I mean, there is no plan B. If you want to make money, if you want to do well, this is the route I chose.
I love that description. And I think that's one of the real fortunate things we have about living in this country is that anyone, anytime, if they choose to do something different, there's a path for them.
Oh yeah.
And they've just got to make the choice to invest in themselves. So thank you for sharing that, Karsten.
Yeah, of course.
You have had the opportunity to be selected as a commencement speaker. And Caitlyn, you said earlier you had your commencement talk written in the beginning of your senior year. But I wish all the commencement talks were like 45 minutes and you could share everything. But how do you distill down the message that you want to share with campus to the time that you're allotted? Because it's not very long. You get just a few minutes to give the most impactful statement of advice to the colleagues you're graduating with, that you've suffered with and learned from and grown together over a period of time. What is that? Just give us the nutshell of the message you want to share in your commencement speech. Caitlyn, will you start for us?
I think the main message that I want to share is just personal growth. I feel like that's the best way to describe my time here at Cal. I I eventually turned into this person that I realized you do need to take risks to have reward. Life isn't always your path doesn't always lead to where you think it might. And I didn't really know how to decide what I was going to put in my speech because, like I said, there's just so much that I feel like I can't even pick one single moment that I could say was like, this was it. But it was the advice that I gained from not only like outside the classroom, because I am very involved, but inside the classroom as well. And I tried to put in a message that was more of like, eventually you are going to learn that your life is what you make of it. So take risks while you can if you ever want to have the reward of the life that you've been dreaming of since you were a little kid.
That's very well said. Thank you. Karsten, what is that message that you're looking to share?
Mine's going to be more just about the pure resilience and perseverance that we had as a class and the true diversity and inclusiveness that we had together. I mean, I'm someone that, obviously I've said it 100 times, came from Venga campus, but being around the students that I'm in, a lot of them are mothers, full-time college students on top of full-time jobs. We all have different paths, and I think being around that environment has been able to make me open up my eyes and realize that we all have our own struggles financially, maybe family-wise, and we all, at the end of the day, have made it here together. And that's the message I want to prove is that we all went through everything we did to get here today. We pushed through so many things that we didn't think were possible, our own mental restraints, our own financial restraints, things that we didn't think were possible, and we're here together celebrating that. And I think that's really the message I want to take home and send home.
That's great. Well said. And Jordan, share with us your message.
Absolutely. So my message is not really one of personal achievement, but of transformation. That's what I really want to highlight here. I'm the product of the people I've been surrounded with for the past 3 years here and the influences that they've created for me here. And ideally, I want to highlight those efforts, not necessarily my own, because I want the class itself to be able to recognize that if they put themselves in a similar environment with a similar support system that I have, that they could experience a similar success as well.
That's very good. Very well said. And do any of you have advice to your freshman self? If you were to look back at that freshman walking in for the first time, two of you had breaks after high school before you came back. What advice would you give to your freshman self today that you may not have told yourself back then? Caitlyn?
I would say the advice is to not be afraid to make mistakes and to take risks because if I feel like there was a point where freshman year especially, I was trying to put myself in this box a little bit because I was kind of scared to put myself out there. And I wish I could go back and start this journey a lot sooner. So then if I would have just taken more risks and put myself out there more, I could have spent more years like this. So yeah, that'd be the best advice to give is like not to be afraid to make mistakes, because without risk, there's no reward.
That's excellent. Jordan?
If I had to give some advice to my freshman self, I think the biggest thing I'd highlight to myself is you've got the raw talent, you've got the raw potential. Now you have to do the work that comes with that. And there's a responsibility to that. So it's time to stop making excuses. It's time to stop dismissing the potential that you have. And it's time to address that head on and just go for it.
Well said. And Karsten, advice to a freshman, to you as a freshman.
Don't be so hard on yourself. I mean, you'll make it eventually with the perseverance and the dedication that you have putting into it. Everyone's allowed to do bad in a few assignments or an exam here and there. That's what makes us who we are today. The embarrassment of doing poorly is what makes you do better. You're never going to feel like that again.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. So people may be curious about your next steps in your career. So you graduate, you walk away. What happens the next day? And then what happens 5 years later? What is your plan? Jordan, why don't you describe that for us? You've got an ambitious next few steps.
Absolutely, Dr. Anderson. So step one is speaking at this commencement ceremony, which I'm very excited to do. But in the days to follow, on May 20th, I'll be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps as a contracted judge advocate, which is the equivalent to a lawyer in the military. So starting in the fall, I'll be attending Liberty Law School. And for the next 3 years, I'll be studying law to then eventually practice military law for the next 4.5 years.
That sounds like a lot of work and a lot of fun. Karsten, what are you going to do the day after commencement and then 5 years later?
The day after commencement is putting my nose to that grindstone and studying for that NCLEX. But right after I pass that and I start my job in the MICU, I plan on furthering my education and getting as much experience as I can, taking another exam called the Critical Care Registered Nurse exam, so I have that experience under my belt. And I want to further my education to CRNA, which is Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist, which Hammett has a school of. So getting my foot in the door there, getting my ICU experience, and then going into their doctorate program is what I plan on doing.
Excellent. Thank you. And Caitlyn, how about you?
After I graduate, I have about a week, and then I will be moving out to Ocean City, Maryland. May 18th is my official hire date. So that's whenever they will hire me, and I'll become, technically, I won't be a full-time officer then until after the academy. The academy starts in July. So July through December, I'll be in their police academy. So very excited. Hopefully everything turns out great. A little bit nerve-wracking because it's a field that I'm not 100% used to, but also really exciting.
It'll be fun. And if I'm ever passing through and you pull me over, please go easy on me.
All right.
Maintain to speed. And for the three of you, I'm sure there are many, many people that have had an influence on you over your time here, whether they were associated with the university or not. But is there anyone, as we prepare to wrap up, anyone that you would like to express some gratitude for their influence on you while you were here? Caitlin, let's start with you.
I would say the biggest people that have influenced me are honestly, the biggest person that's influenced me, and I've said it before, was Derek. He was the first person I talked to on this campus ever. He has really pushed me to be, like, he's given me so many great ideas of the role that I'm in now, and he's helped me so much as a peer mentor. But also I would say just like the students that I've been around have really like pushed me. From my team to all the way to the senators and SGA, everyone here, I really haven't had a bad experience with anyone, if I'm being honest. They genuinely, from Missy Dunn to the people in the police department to residence life and housing, they all have really encouraged me to become the best version of myself, and I'll be forever grateful for that.
Thanks, Caitlin. Karsten?
I have two. I have a professor and I have a personal one, but let's start with the professor, Dr. David Lott. He was my A&T professor, and he was always just so generous and kind, no matter what you did. Like, if you did bad, he's always like, it's okay, deep breathe. He wanted you to cry. He's like, crying releases endorphins and makes you feel good. And he's not wrong. Like, as soon as I got done crying, I was like, dang, I feel good. I just bombed that exam, but I feel good. You know what I mean? So it's okay. And the other one is my soon-to-be fiance. I mean, just with the support that I've had at home, I watched her go through nursing school a year before me, and just seeing her balance 3 jobs and nursing school, it was just, I mean, it's mesmerizing to see that and now have the support and backbone of her while I'm doing the same thing she did. Obviously not balancing 3 jobs because I can't do that, but just having her support is amazing.
That's excellent. Thank you. I'm sure she'll appreciate that too. And Jordan, how about you?
Yes, so I've already had the opportunity to highlight 2 individuals that had quite an impact on me, those being Dr. Warnick and Dr. Klinowski. So I feel it's only appropriate that I highlight my coach, Coach Caulfield. Throughout each of our seasons, we really work on different aspects of ourselves, just aside from the physical aspect of our sport. And through that, I've kind of seen this progression and this development of a belief. And really, it's a belief in my capabilities. Going into college, I didn't necessarily have the confidence in my capabilities that would indicate this type of success. And because of the work I've done with him over the course of these past 3 years, I would say he's played an integral part in my success here.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure all of them will look forward to hearing your comments today and hearing you express gratitude for the influence that they have had on you. But thanks to each of you for sharing some insights. We look forward to hearing from you at commencement and having you have the opportunity to share with your class those sentiments that you put so thoughtfully together. And thanks to each of you for joining today on the Power of PennWest podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Anderson.
Thank you so much. It was good speaking with you again.